Welcome to Lovoria Network, where every story brings raw emotions, powerful lessons, and the kind of family drama that makes us reflect on our own lives. Today, I want to take you through a story that tore my heart apart. A story of love, sacrifice, and the painful truth that sometimes the people we love most can hurt us in ways strangers never could. This is about me, a father who tried, failed, tried again, and never gave up, until one moment crushed me completely. That moment came when my daughter, the little girl I once cradled in my arms, called me a deadbeat dad in front of her in-laws. And then, as if the wound wasn't deep enough, she told me to stay silent. I remember the day she was born like it was yesterday. The hospital room was cold, but when they placed her in my arms, the world warmed instantly. I whispered promises into her tiny ears, telling her I would protect her, love her, and give her the life I never had. Those promises weren't empty. They were the fire that kept me going, even when life threw storm after storm at me. I wasn't rich, I wasn't perfect, but I was present. Or at least, I tried my best to be. Life doesn't always let you keep promises as you imagine them. Divorce hit me like a thunderstorm. Suddenly, weekends were the only time I had with her, and even those were sometimes stolen by circumstances beyond my control. I worked long hours, sometimes 2 jobs, just to keep up with child support and still manage to put food on my own table. I know I missed birthdays, school events, and dinners that should have been ours. But every sacrifice I made came from love. To her, though, absence looked like neglect and sacrifice looked like failure. As she grew older, I noticed her eyes change. No longer did she look at me with admiration or excitement when I showed up. Instead, her eyes carried judgment, disappointment, and something colder, resentment. Every late arrival became proof I didn't care. Every financial shortfall became evidence I didn't provide. I tried explaining, I tried showing her that love doesn't always look like grand gestures, sometimes it's in the small, quiet ways. But she didn't see it. Or maybe she didn't want to. When she got married, I thought things might turn around. Maybe her own journey into adulthood would help her understand the struggles of life, the weight of responsibility, the sacrifices parents make. So when she invited me to dinner with her in-laws, I saw it as my chance. A fresh start. I dressed my best, rehearsed polite words, and prayed that this would be the night she saw me not as a failure, but as a father who never stopped trying. Dinner started well enough. Her husband's parents were warm and polite, asking gentle questions about my life, about her childhood, about our family. I smiled, choosing my words carefully, hoping to leave them with the image of a father who may not have been perfect, but who loved his daughter deeply. For a brief moment I thought maybe, just maybe, we were healing. But then it happened. She leaned back, smirked ever so slightly, and with a voice colder than ice, she said, "Oh, him? He was just a deadbeat dad. Don't expect much of a story there." The room fell silent. Her words pierced through me like a dagger. Deadbeat. A word I thought belonged to men who walked away, who never cared, who never tried. But me? I worked until my hands bled, I starved so she wouldn't, I broke myself in half to give her more than I had. Yet in her eyes, I was nothing but a deadbeat. My chest burned, my hands shook under the table. 1,000 words raced to my lips. I wanted to scream the truth, to tell her in-laws that she didn't know half of what I endured for her. I wanted them to know that my absence was never abandonment, it was sacrifice. But before I could even gather the courage, she leaned close, her eyes sharp as glass, and whispered through clenched teeth, "Don't say a word. Just stay quiet." So I did. I swallowed the truth, I buried my pain, and I sat there in silence while she erased my years of sacrifice in one cruel label. I didn't argue, I didn't defend myself, I didn't break the facade. Because sometimes being a parent means carrying pain in silence so your child doesn't choke on the weight of truth. But that silence didn't stay at the table. It followed me home, echoing louder than her words. Deadbeat. Was that truly how she saw me? Did my missed birthdays erase the nights I worked 2 shifts? Did my lack of money erase the love in my heart? Did my flaws erase the father I tried so hard to be? Every memory played in my mind. The first time I taught her to ride a bike, the late nights I rocked her to sleep, the countless times I gave her the last bite of food even when I was starving. None of it mattered in her story. I thought of calling her, asking why, begging for some recognition of all I had done. But I couldn't. Because when your child wounds you, the pain is too raw, the scar too fresh. So I stayed quiet, just like she demanded. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still no apology, no explanation. Just silence, the same silence she asked me to keep. But here's what I've come to realize. Silence may keep the peace at a dinner table, but it cannot bury the truth forever. My silence was not weakness, and her words do not define me. I may not have been the father she wanted, but I was never the deadbeat she painted me to be. I showed up, I fought, I sacrificed, and I loved, even when love wasn't returned. This story isn't to cast her as the villain. It's to remind us all that words carry weight, sometimes heavier than stones. Families can wound us in ways strangers never could. But healing begins when we stop letting others dictate our worth. I will no longer stay silent about my truth. Because I was not a perfect father, but I was never a deadbeat. And no one, not even my daughter, can take that truth away.